According to Bishop Police Chief Chris Carter, over the course of the past several weeks in the Bishop area, many people have reported to local law enforcement that their credit and debit card numbers have been compromised and fraudulently used in various locations throughout the United States. We even had a call here at the Sierra Wave today from someone who suffered that same thing. Most people are becoming aware of these uses after being notified by their bank or credit card company. Several victims have reported the fraudulent use of their credit or debit cards. Now, as the result of these reports, a pattern has emerged, according to the police chief, and the police department in Bishop wanted to make the public aware of what is going on. At last night's Bishop City Council meeting, Chief Carter said 150 to 200 people have contacted law enforcement in the past 3 weeks with credit or debit cards compromised. The police department has identified several locations where victims have used their cards and then had their cards later compromised. The most prominent locations, according to the chief, Vaughn's grocery store and gas station, both of those outlets, Smart and Final in Bishop, and Dwayne's Pharmacy. Now, the chief made a big point to say that the FBI is now involved in this investigation and that the thefts are being committed not by employees of the local stores, he said, but by cyber crime techniques, he called them. Again, he said these are not the fault of the merchants or their employees. He said Vaughn's corporate security has also been notified and is working in conjunction with the local Bishop Police and the FBI to assist in this investigation. Now, most of the victims in these cases are being reimbursed by their banks. The Bishop Police Department wanted to make the public aware of this so that you can take protective measures like using one single credit card, the chief said, with fraud protection for purchases, or write a check instead of using a debit or a credit card. Using your debit card as credit is another tactic where the input of your PIN number is not required. So, in consultation with the FBI, the police department has learned this type of crime is called carding. And the chief said it's widespread at this time. The crime involves computer hackers, he said, who steal credit debit card information by hacking a database of a retailer, he said. Then the hackers sell the information to other criminals who use the cards, and thus there have been purchases literally all over the United States from people's cards in the Bishop area. Now, if you have any questions, you can call the Bishop Police Department, or if you feel that you've been a victim and have not reported it, they would like to know. So give the Bishop Police Department a call. Otherwise, be careful. And meanwhile, in Mono County, from the Bridgeport Courthouse, Mono District Attorney Tim Kendall gave us this report that Mammoth Lakes resident Gene Wayne Harris was arrested on a warrant charging contact with a minor for the intent to commit a sexual offense. On March 1st, the Mono County DA was referred an investigation through the Mammoth Lakes Police School Resource Officer Program after Mr. Harris, age 41, made what they're calling inappropriate contact with a minor through her Facebook account. District Attorney's investigators took over with the help of the school resource officer. They set up a sting with Mr. Harris, who is a previously convicted sex offender. Over the course of several days, Harris engaged with investigators in an online conversation, believing he was communicating with the minor child. A meeting was set up at the Quality Inn. DA investigators, with the help of law enforcement, arrested Harris without incident. Now, this was a cooperative effort involving the DA, Mammoth Police, Mono County Sheriff, and once again, the FBI getting in on this case. Harris, at last word, was being held at the Mono County Jail on $75,000 bail. The Mono DA, as well as the U.S. Attorney's Office, are reviewing the case for prosecution and appropriate venue. The Mono County DA, along with local law enforcement agencies, say They take these cases very seriously. And they point out, too, that the use of social media can be dangerous, and they encourage parents to remain vigilant. Well, if you're watching the snowpack, it looks kind of pathetic these days. It's not what it should be, although it is just barely below the long-term average right now. The State Department of Water Resources recently conducted this winter's third snow survey throughout the state. Surveyors have now been quoted as saying that the water content in the mountain snowpack is, quote, well below normal for the date. This according to the State Water Resources website. According to surveyors, the snowpack in all parts of California has not lost much water content since the first survey on January 2nd, but it has not continued to build due to warm weather and a lack of snow. State surveyors say the snowpack water content is only 66% of average for this time of year. That's statewide. The Los Angeles Department of Water and Power website shows that Mammoth Pass snowpack has dropped to 84% of normal to date. It was well above 100. The water content has dropped to 32 inches, which again sits below the long-term average for the Eastern Sierra, but well above last year. The LADWP precipitation conditions showed Gem Pass at 79% of normal to date, Mammoth 84%, Rock Creek 60%, South Lake 63, Big Pine 46. At the end of December, all these percentages looked much higher. And again, at that point, Mammoth Pass sat at 145% of normal to date. Since the end of last year, the hefty snowfall just did not continue. And precipitation figures look even more dismal. Long Valley, 42% of normal to date. Bishop, 23%. Big Pine, 18%, Independence, 26%. Officials say even late March snow will not make up for the lack of snow in part of January and most of February. On the business side of weather, Mammoth Mountain Ski Area has received plenty of snow, roughly 24 feet with additional snow in the recent storm. We'll take a break, be back with more.